Hello and welcome back. I'm so glad to have you for another one of my videos. I am Michelle Lee Farnsworth, and I am an author, coach, and advocate, empowering you to find and follow your design through connecting with your true self or your noble self. So today I wanted to come and share a video about how it is that we can follow spirit, be in the moment, listen to our noble self or our soul, and also plan what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to be in the world. So I want to start off quickly by just doing a quick overview for those of you guys who are maybe just joining me as to what the noble self is, why it's important to listen to it, and then get into the topic. So the noble self is our soul. It's the part of us that is connected to the divine. It's the part of us that is our intuition, has wisdom, and truly knows what it is that we need to be doing in this world. And so with that, this noble self is the part of us that we are to listen to get guidance, and to determine how we are to move and operate and be in the world. The other part of ourselves, just as context, is our shadow self. And our shadow self is the ego. It is the part of us that is the protector, the one that is very useful in times of danger, and is also the part of us that is very good about being in the world and trying to protect us from things that might be scary. Now, the thing is that this shadow self part of us is a piece of us that truly believes that the highest important thing is to be safe. But our noble self, connected to the divine and the universe and the abundance of all that is, knows that we are to be abundantly connected, abundantly big, and definitely playing out our design, our purpose in this world. So there is a constant conversation between the two, and I have other videos about how to know which voice is which, as well as how to navigate that. But what I wanted to focus on today is really this idea that we are to listen to our noble selves, and that once we know how to do that and who it is that's speaking, that what to do when we are kind of faced with the question of, well, I can't just willy-nilly have a day and figure out what to do moment by moment when I have things I need to get done. So what I wanted to share is some things that I've been noticing in my own life that might assist things. So one of them has to do with the fact that I do plan. I absolutely spend time each day. I also spend time in general being very strategic. What is it I'm going to be doing? What is it I'm going to be getting done this week, this month, this quarter? And I make sure to be very specific about what I'm planning. And what I've been finding recently has been also creating space for spirit to show up. So I want to give a very specific example that's actually very related to this YouTube channel, which is that a few months ago I started posting more regularly. I had pre-recorded a bunch of videos. I was very excited about the entire process and loved where everything was going. And then when I was set to record another set of videos and continue the process and post them, my noble self kept telling me no, and I didn't understand why. It didn't make sense. In fact, I was getting a little frustrated because I had created a plan. And I said, okay, on Mondays each week, I'm going to record this many, and this is great, and I'm enjoying it. And the first week, that was exactly what happened. And the second week, I just kept getting a no. And because I have leaned into listening, I did. And the second week, the same thing happened. And again, I listened, and I thought, my shadow self was like, we're off schedule, and what are we going to do? And I can't believe all of this. And my noble self just kept saying, no, this is good. This is not what we're supposed to be doing right now. And a little bit later, I had a friend of mine reach out to me and who told me, hey, I've been watching your YouTube videos, and you might not have noticed, but something about the sound quality is not what you expected it to be. And so I looked into it, and I asked a couple of friends to look at it and found that that's accurate. And in that moment, I thanked my lucky stars. I thanked the universe. I thanked my noble self. And I thanked myself for listening to my noble self, for not recording more and more videos where the sound quality was not how I wanted them to be. And what happened in that space is, in determining and figuring out how to increase my sound quality, I also realized I needed a different space for my YouTube. So now my background is very different than what it was the last time I had posted. And I am feeling super grateful for that. So that's a perfect example of having a plan and being open to it being changed. Now that's very different than having a plan and letting our shadow self say, nope, I'd rather watch Netflix, or I'd rather, just talk to some friends or go hang out. This was my noble self saying, nope, don't do this thing. And so finding that in those moments, it's very important to do that. So I want to give you a little bit of maybe a day-to-day view of how all of this works. So I will take a look at the daily schedule that I've created, usually a combination of coaching clients I have to work with, maybe other coaches, or in general people I'm collaborating with on certain projects, maybe a group coaching event. And that will be things that are scheduled in. I also schedule in appointments with myself. So I have my morning routine. And these are things that are non-negotiable in terms of time in a given day. So that's definitely a plan, right? And then I have a list of things that I would like to complete in that day. And what I'll do is I will go through and get done the things that are scheduled. And then I will ask myself, maybe it's between the appointments as well. Okay, what's next? And my noble self will then say to me, okay, go do the dishes. Or I'll hear it give me a little nudge to go outside. Or it will say, oh, I really want to, for instance, what I'm doing right now. I really want to create content right now. Something is showing up and I want to create a video. And so in that moment, I do that thing. And so right now, I am recording a video. If in this moment, I took even a second to think what's coming next, I'm no longer here in the moment with you, and you'd notice. And you'd probably take that moment to click and go to something else, right? Because we can tell when someone's paying attention to us or not. So what I've noticed is important is that when I've figured out what that thing is I'm to do in that moment, I do that fully until it feels like I feel complete. And maybe it's completing the entire task, and it's something where I, gotten into a zone and I've updated my website, or, I feel called to call a friend. But whatever it is, I wait until I feel complete with the current thing. And I finish it and I say, okay, is there anything more I'm supposed to do here? Which you'll notice I'll do by the end of this video. I'll actually pause and I'll say, okay, anything more? Nope, we're good. And then we'll close, right? But until that moment, I'm here. And so I am in that task, whatever it might be. I'm doing that task. And then when I complete it, then I go, okay, what's next? And instead of looking at my to-do list to have it dictate what's next, I say, what's next? And I'm asking myself. And so in that moment, I'll get the next inclination of what that thing is going to be. Now, just like I schedule appointments where those are to be done that day, if there is anything that absolutely has a deadline that needs to be done that particular day, maybe it's, calling for an appointment for my daughter's, doctor's appointment that's the next day, so I have to call today or something like that. I also schedule those items. So those are non-negotiables, have to get them done. And then everything else is, let's see where my noble self knows needs to happen. So even today, very interesting story. I was done with my morning routine. I had an appointment that I had scheduled. And then I said, okay, what's next? And I heard, okay, let's make a YouTube video. And I said, okay, great. And so I got ready, I set things up, all the things I need to do. And right before I was to record, I got a phone call from a friend and I got a yes to answer that phone call. Now, I could have said to myself, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. I have made a commitment to myself to record right at this exact moment. But my noble self said, yes, to the phone call. And it was a great phone call. And ideas about what I wanted to do in this video showed up in that phone call. And so this is the very delicate but powerful balance between planning a day and following spirit in a day. Now, I'm sharing this with you not because I'm a pro at this. In fact, I'm really just still in the experimental phase, but I'm noticing more and more what's been working the last few weeks and last few months for me, and getting more specific and understanding moment by moment how this is showing up. And the reason why moment by moment is so important is that in receiving guidance from our noble self, receiving guidance from the divine, guidance is moment by moment by moment. Guidance is not given as a be-all, end-all. So I'm never going to get guidance that says, okay, every day at 2:00, make a YouTube video, because that is extrapolating out of the moment. That is saying something about the future. I am being told right now, in this particular day, in this particular moment of my life, of my lifetime, right? So you can see the complexity of the timing that got me to this moment. I am to create this particular video on this particular content and to be here fully for everyone who shows up, to speak whatever it is that's coming to my heart from spirit to share, and trusting in the universe that it will potentially impact somebody or potentially not. But my job, and this is an affirmation that I have been really taking to heart the last few weeks, has been, I am to embrace that my entire job is to show up in all the places I am to be. My entire job is to show up and be in all the places I am to show up. And what that means is that my focus is on being there. And to be there means to be present, means to be fully here with you in this moment, means to be being prompted, and to not consider all the questions that might come to mind. And I'm going to share them briefly and then move out of them, because they will mess with me if I'm not careful. But in this moment, as recording this video, I can't be thinking, well, I wonder how many likes I'm going to have. I wonder if people are going to like my YouTube channel. I wonder if I can't do any of that, because that's not just showing up. And my job and your job and all of our jobs is to show up in every moment where we are supposed to be and be who we're supposed to be in that moment, and trust that it's the right thing. And that includes both being, which is what I'm doing right now, but in my being, I am actively doing something. I am creating a video. So this combination of being and doing is a synchronous activity. But the more important thing, I could record this video and be so distracted that you won't watch it. And that means I'm not being here for you. I'm not doing and being what I'm supposed to be. So as you go into the rest of your day today, or into your week, as you think about your time, think about both the things you are to do this week, but underlying everything, think about who you are to be. And so if in that being of who you are, it is to be a support to my family, to be fully present with my children, to be creative at work, to be a loving friend, that guides then what your to-dos need to be each week and each day. And more importantly, as I mentioned, each moment. So when there are things, when you have a space where there's not your absolute have-tos each day, the plans that you make because you've got a schedule with others and a schedule with yourself, open up and ask, okay, what am I to be and what am I to do in this particular moment? and see what shows up in that moment and do it full out. And then when you're done, stop and say, okay, what's next? So I'm feeling complete. I'm feeling blessed to have shared this with you guys today because it was top of mind and it was exciting for me to think of, and interested to hear in the comments your feedback, your thoughts, anything this prompts you, any questions you might have. And if you have found this video to be useful, I would ask that you subscribe to my channel for more content. If you're already subscribed, do click on the little bell button to be notified of new videos as I post them, which I'll post as I'm prompted to do so. And also, if you're interested in connecting with me, either through my book, Follow Your Design, Rediscovering Your Truth and Purpose, or joining my online communities, or joining me for personal or group coaching, or anything else, please check out the links that are in the description to this video. Thank you for being here today, and I look forward to running into you on another video when you feel moved in that moment to join me.